Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy. This is my weekly video blog. I post a new tip here each and every Friday, and you can tune in and you can subscribe and you can share it, and I don't know, there's probably other stuff you can do with it. Those are the things that I recommend. Before we get to this week's guitar tip, I want to revisit an earlier guitar tip. It's guitar tip number 31, and it's called Take Your Pick. And that was, I don't know, 10 or 12 weeks ago. And at that point, I was really into this kind of pick called a Golden Gate pick. It's made really for mandolin players. It's really got 3 soft shoulders instead of the traditional fender-shaped pick or Dunlop-shaped pick. I think in the pick industry that's known as shape number 351. Anyway, I got really into this mandolin pick, but I found over time that it was actually just a little bit too heavy. It's great for acoustic guitar, but for electric guitar, it was just a little bit too much weight. Believe it or not, just a tiny bit of celluloid has some weight. So it felt like a lot of weight to move around, and it's very thick, so if when you're moving between strings, a millimeter here or there, it really does make a difference. But I liked it. The thing I liked most about it was that it's 3 soft shoulders and there's no real tip to it, and I don't really like the pointy tip of the pick for most of the things that I do. And then I happened to stumble upon this other pick, which I'm really into now. So take it with a grain of salt. Maybe 10 weeks from now I'll say something different. But this is a DeAndrea pick. It's 0.96 millimeters, so it's a little bit thinner. And it's, again, like the mandolin pick, the Golden Gate pick. It does have tips, but they're softer than a normal 351 shape. So the tone is a little less biting, but you can get some bite. If you choke up on it, you can definitely get harmonics and other kinds of nuances that I was missing actually from the Golden Gate pick. There just wasn't a lot of bite to it when you want bite, and sometimes you do. So it is still kind of a 3-sided, soft, semi-soft shouldered pick. It's quite large. It's one thing that might throw you off. If people see you with this, they're going to think you're a folk singer, playing auto harp or something. It feels like a kind of a funny pick to do anything, I don't know, fast or dexterous with. That's not much my style, but sometimes I do try and play those things, and I can play as fast as I want with this. I can also use it for strumming. I can be expressive with it. I really like it. I found out about these picks from my friend Noel Akshote, who's a fantastic guitar player, super creative, puts out all kinds of music. It's kind of hard to describe what he does because it seems like he's putting out a new record every week, and some of it's improvised, some of it's guitar transcriptions of, could be Mozart, could be Arvo Pärt. He just does all kinds of stuff, so it's kind of hard to describe. But anyway, he had some custom-made picks with his name on them, and he gave me one of these a while ago, and I just kept it as a keepsake because I'm a big fan of his. But I started playing with it, and I realized I actually liked it a lot. It wasn't just a nice keepsake. It's actually a really cool pick. So I ordered some without Noel's name on them. These are from DeAndrea. Maybe I'll get some made with my name on them at some point. Anyway, that's a lot of pick talk, considering that's not the tip this week. Okay, what is the tip this week? If you watch the theme song and you listen closely, there were some clues in there. The guitar tip this week is separate the wheat from the chaff. Separate the wheat from the chaff. I think that goes back to some kind of biblical quote. I'm not that up on the Bible, so I'm not going to... Anyway, it's a proverb. It's some kind of proverb. What it means is separate the really essential stuff from the stuff that you can easily jettison, that's not valuable or nutritious or important. So I thought about this week because I've been really into, there's a Beatles song called The Word. I've been really into the song, the production. It's amazing. If you've never heard it, please go wherever you can find music to listen to and listen to The Word by the Beatles. It's a really amazing track, the way it's produced. And it's basically a really simple song. It's kind of a blues in D, and it's the first chord is a dominant 7 sharp 9. Say the word and you'll be free. Say the word and be like me. Say the word. It goes to the 4. That's G7. Say the word I'm thinking of. And back to the D7 sharp 9. Say the, have you heard the word is love? And then the turnaround is really neat. It basically, instead of going regular 5, regular 4, it goes 5 bass note, sort of G triad over A, and then to A, and then F triad over G to G, and back to this. That's the main section, and there's a bridge section, which we'll get into in a minute. But if you listen to the recording, the guitar part, and I assume it's George Harrison. You know, the Beatles had 3 great guitar players in that band. George Harrison, John Lennon was a really great guitar player, and Paul McCartney was a really great guitar player. I don't know who of them played the guitar part, but it's a much more, it's a lot smaller. Instead of playing D7 sharp 9, it's just the top 2 notes. It's F and C, and the rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So it's cool because it's got a kind of a funkiness. It's syncopated. It also, if you listen to the original recording, it stays out of the way of the vocal. Say the word, and you'll be free. Say the word and be like me. So all the activity is happening, while the vocal is not moving around very much, either in the rests or in the sustain notes. So that's really cool. Same kind of thing on the G7 chord. It's just 2 notes. Back to the D7 sharp 9. And then on the turnaround, the guitar basically just plays 1 note. So instead of doing all this harmony, the guitar part just goes, and as it goes through the song, occasionally you might hear the open E string get plucked in there, but the part essentially is just, and then the vocals are up high going something like this. It's so fun, it's so fun. And so the guitar fills in the harmony that's not in the vocal. It's really interesting. So on the A chord, the Beatles sing in 3-part harmony. This is a second inversion G triad, and then at least to my ears, it sounds like it then goes to A E E. The top note goes so fun, and then there's a line below that goes so fun, and then there's a line that goes up so fun. So by filling in this part, there's a C sharp in the A chord that wouldn't be there otherwise. So it's so fun. The same thing on the G chord. So it's really ingenious. Another guitar player might have played something, bigger chords. That's cool. I mean, that's a pretty cool part. But that's not what happened. And then on the bridge section, the chords go na 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 maybe not C7. And the guitar part doesn't follow the chords really. It just plays this low riff that goes 2, 3, 4. So in a way, it's the wrong thing to play because that little line doesn't exactly match with the chords. Doesn't contradict them. There's not any real clashes, but under the D, it's like I guess that's kind of D70, and then on the C, the first note is a D. So that's not the first note you'd think of to play a pretty low register D over a C chord, and then over the F chord, same thing. So that's the sixth on the F chord, and then G. So, in a way you could say, well, it's just a pentatonic thing. And you could use that as the chords change. It's basically F major or D minor pentatonic riff as the chords go D, C, F, G. And it's kind of wrong, but just by being repetitive and just sticking to the motif or the theme or whatever, it becomes right. Also, I should say the tone of it is very biting. So I wouldn't do this if you were playing a big jazz guitar with fat strings or, an amp with a lot of bass in it. When you play these kind of low parts, you have to, it's kind of counterintuitive in a way. Like when I play up high, I'll often go to my neck pickup because when you're up high, there's already plenty of treble, even if you go to the neck pickup. So I'll play up here and I get more of the fundamental and kind of a harmonic rich sound. And when I go down low, I'll play on my neck pickup because otherwise it's just too much harmonic information. Down with the bridge pickup on, now I'm not plugged in as you can see, so you're just going to have to use your imagination. But with the bridge pickup on, I can play these low things and you're getting more of the kind of twang and, second, third, fourth partials, or, that's a whole, maybe that's a whole other video about harmonics and partials and fundamentals. But you know what I mean? The note has more of a top endiness to it rather than sounding like I'm trying to be a bass player, even though I'm playing a bass part. So, and that would be true even if I was soloing, So when I solo down low, I tend to be on the bridge pickup, and when I solo up high, I tend to be on the neck pickup, generally. Tend to stay away from the middle pickup because it's a little bit neutral. It seems like, maybe your intuition is, oh, that'll be like the peacekeeper. It's not too dark, it's not too bright. I like a guitar tone that has a particular personality. So the middle position is good when you want to just be more a background part. But if you're doing something that's eventful and significant in the song or in the jam or whatever, I'd say pick one or the other. It's just a little more definitive. So this is a pretty long guitar tip. I think I'll wind it down here. But the big idea this week is separate the wheat from the chaff. If a chord can be played with 3 notes, see if you can play it with 2. And if you can be played with 2 notes, see if you can play it with 1. And try playing single note lines in place of chords. Just try and shake off anything that's not absolutely necessary for the music that the music that you're trying to make. But there's a little Yoda moment. There's no try, there's only do. So it's about the music that you are making. You are making music. Just get rid of the stuff that's not necessary. That's the chaff. maybe you can find a way to compost it. For guitar tips, I'm Adam Levy. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your ma. Tell your pa. Stay tuned and take good care.